All right, gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the special film and TV news video. And this is going to be official that um, in the wake of the Comcast spun off NBC Universal as a separate company, that Sky was a subsidiary of NBC Universal, formerly Comcast, officially acquired ITV, except for the ITV Studios division, for the 2.1 billion pounds in British dollars, that is, and to all the and because it was shaping to bring all the merger between the TV between ITV and Sky, and broader audience content between broadcasting. Now, so I probably know that ITV have been for a long, long time since the 50s. It was become the first in commercial UK's television commercial network was probably focused on the kind of brands. Now, before that, the ITV was like the regional station. Now, nowadays, STV was remained independent and used to be UTV was also the independent until 2016 when it officially sold by ITV, and then before that, the Channel Islands, the Channel Television, was bought by ITV in 2011. So so the remained, except for STV, Scottish TV. So yeah, the reason the ITV was big in plans to be for reshape the entertainment, like most like the other British networks like BBC, Channel 4, Channel 5, and a lot of others, that the bringing the new all kind of audience that people were shaved to ITV regional, like between like and before like LWT, Central, Cotton, and West Country, and TSW, and so, Southern or something, and Meridian, and Anglia, and a lot of others. And Thames too was used to call that before that, but the reason because the more and Border too is more or less known regional channels like and Gurana. So the reason that ITV was bringing in regional content like in British Got Talent, Brit Awards using on ITV. It's like the British answers to Grammys. The Love Island and Help, I'm a Celebrity, and the X Factor UK was probably gonna cancel, but hey, it still works. And a lot of others. And the probably we gone and and the soap operas like Coronary Street, and Emmerdale. So it pretty much they wide the British audience and content, mostly of the European entertainment network was probably mainly like Sky was pretty much the same thing. But even as for recent Saturday Night Live UK was gone decent success, but it helped shaping to bring Sky into the new market, more part of the NBC Universal was a pretty much NBC that was based off the NBC late night show. So the reason the merger between the Sky and ITV was probably bring a strategy part of the NBC Universal brand. So here's and the reason that and shareholders was bring on a new kind of audience. And NBC Universal was, like I said, as Comcast has officially spun off NBC Universal as a separate company. Now, I probably know in the wake of like Paramount and Warner Bros. Merger was going to be close to complete, and probably the many companies like before like the 20th Century Fox Studios, later 20th Century Fox merged with Disney, was not under the brand. And then later with Warner Brothers and Discovery merger, and the Amazon and NGM merger. So it seems like they are pretty much merging companies now. And since and one thing that Netflix will acquire the Warner Brothers assets, but it didn't work. But now it led to Paramount. So yeah, that's why Netflix will remain independent, because there's no reason to acquire the major companies that one appear to. So yeah, and also probably the cable and TV and cable assets was not didn't bother like Netflix through. It's like the live TV channels that probably Netflix went to, like the WWE and the comedy events and something like that, or belong to Netflix. So I probably know this is why Netflix probably more know pure kind of like similar with Prime Video or Disney Plus or and a lot of others. So. Okay, so the reason because Sky would take over ITV as a part of the strategy by NBC Universal. So here's from the article from Deadline. He said, Sky to take over ITV in £2.1 billion deal that dramatically reshaped British television. So it's pretty much that British television was made to take a new step. BBC hasn't become the 100. Still going of the after 100 years. Channel 4 was become the niche content, mostly from The Simpsons to Holy Rocks and Countdown. And Channel 5 was more like a lesser known channel. It was owned by Paramount Skydance. Now Paramount Skydance, Warner Brothers. So that name makes no sense. But some other channels are pretty much kind of difference between other. Because ITV was more like a niche regional television that's probably in the part of the ITV network. And I mentioned that ITV studios remained separate from ITV after NBC Universal and Sky acquired ITV, because ITV studios remained separate as an independent because it's not part of the deal. So, yeah. So here he is. Here's a article from Deadline. Sky is finally sealed the £1.6 billion pounds and $2.1 billion deal to acquire ITV's television network operations. The ITV confirmed to the shareholders on Monday morning that it will sell to the pay TV rival, meaning that Crown Jewel of the British broadcasting becomes part of the NBC Universal's entertainment empire. And as of the Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery merger needs towards completion, ITV acquisitions of ITV is another sign that the traditional television companies that turn in disseminated consortium to compete with the likes of Netflix and YouTube. Now, I know YouTube was now going on nowadays, but mostly from the original content, and especially the YouTube acquired the broadcasting sort of rights. Release of the Caribbean Awards begin in 2029 after Disney losing the broadcasting rights. So yeah, and particularly on ABC and Disney Plus and Hulu. So the agreement is following the holistic courtship that lasting in nearly 9 months after ITV first notified the London Stock Exchange in November that the media and entertainment division was under offered. So, I pretty know the ITV studios. Like I said, ITV studios remained separate from the ITV brand as a whole because of between the Sky and ITV merger, but remained as separate because the independent due to mostly not allowed to bring strategy and monopoly. Like mostly in the ITV studios is pretty much different. Now ITV studios was possible from many ITV shows, mostly from the other channels like Grant Norton's show on BBC One and Countdown on Channel 4. So the Promans will be part of the ITV studios, which was aired on the other channels not related to ITV. So yeah, ITV Studios remained independent, was as a separate from ITV brand, was remained, maybe not name change, who knows. ITV would pay £1.2 billion upfront for ITV with another £2,000 million paying for in the first half of 2028. Which will be the concentration on the company's ad revenue hitting £1.7 billion next year. There will be the cash return of around $9,050 million pounds, 25 pounds per share for ITV shareholders. The Freebies, ITV Studios, ITV's Freebeam production arm were not part of the Sky agreement, but free from the transaction. However, after Sky sold the Great British Break-Off producer Love Productions to ITV Studios for as a £2,000 million side deal to the creation. ITV has struck the $2.1 billion output deal with ITV Studios until 2032, which we give the ITV Studios certainty over the ongoing production of ITV hit series, including Love Island, Coronation Street, and I'm Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I meant to say Help, I'm a Celebrity, but it was the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So yeah, this series will be not moved to behind Sky's paywall. So again, ITV remained separate from the ITV Sky merger. So probably these programs remain as not all airing on Sky, but even the probably still airing on the TV. So probably the studio division might acquire of another company, so it might change the company. So Sky takeover of ITV were likely the subject to the regularly approval process. A deal of this scale will be raised strategic completion convincing only recently, but after the ad market was updated by the global tech giants, Sky and ITV would now be the concept of the getting clearances. The combined TV and streaming viewer, the share was up at the 70.7% in May, which is behind YouTube's share in the 80.86%, according to Bob, the official UK rating body. So I probably know this is like the making YouTube up there and the ITV more different, like like BBC or something like that. So Sky CEO Daniel Strong said, "This is a defining moment for British media and the opportunity to build a strong future for two of the UK's most loved and trusted brands." She's added that ITV will remain as a public service broadcaster at the heart of the British life. So I'll probably not talk about BBC. ITV was more like a regional broadcaster back in the day, in more like a different network. So ITV CEO Colin McCall said, "I am confident that Sky will be a strong and responsibility costed of ITV, building on the interest while invested in the future of the safeguarding that qualities that they make ITV so valuable by viewers, advertisers, and UK's creative industries." So yeah, this is going to be more like the merger, like it between the Sky and ITV was remain like this pretty much the future of of entertainment in UK. Now I'm not talking about ITV. I'm not talking about BBC or Channel 4, Channel 5, etc. But ITV was as a whole more like a period to kind of the strategy bring a new British community into the global scale. So Sky was founded by Rupert Murdoch, was a part of the News Corp in 1990, but it became the swashbuckling growth in internet story in the UK television market, but usually and under operate in Europe market, but now in UK. Community of the $39 million sale to Comcast was, I know that usually were owned by Comcast, but now and Comcast separate from NBC Universal as a public companies, as a separate company. So, I did a video before that. Anyway, primary of the pay TV and telecoms operation was like Comcast, of course. It's just like British version of Comcast, but it has run free-to-air networks and not only Sky News, but the ITV acquisition moves the company into the new territory. So I think that reason that, like I said, due to the 21st Century Fox and Disney merger was probably ending on the sold to another company. So the Sky were sold to Comcast. It was very part of the strategy of Xfinity, where like cable operations was TV pretty between like in different kind of brands. But Sky and it's pretty much the NBC Universal was remained like separate from Comcast. It's probably now Sky remain operating as the cable operations, telecom operations for bring in the UK market, but and Xfinity and Comcast broadband was pretty much was a terrible thing. And like I said, I know Comcast was the most hated company in America, but yeah, it still works. ITV was a 71-year-old blackbird of UK television and public service broadcaster that would guarantee the processes of on TV guys. ITV was the biggest commercial network in the country, boasting the hit series like Love Island and British Got Talent, and also the home of the FIFA World Cup 2026, alongside the BBC. Was remained until 18 July. So, yeah. This guy is buying the company with generally £2 billion in revenue in 2025, boasting the nearest 32% share in the commercial viewing of the streaming service in ITVX, that it has been growing nearly 60% over the past 4 years of the 60.5 million monthly active users. So I think this is a low compared to ITV with Sky and as well as streaming service like Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime Video, etc. So it's also the company whose share price has suffered immediately along state TV adaptation down of the third of the high achieved in 2015. The linear TV brand as a whole has becoming declining because of streaming. So I'll probably go to be merging between because of the Sky and ITV was bring strategy into the future, like the streaming service to bring all the content like on-demand service. So Sky and ITV would sit under the NBC Universal, which Comcast is spinning out into the standalone listed company. Sources that said the choreography of Comcast spin off last week, and the ITV deal this week is no conducive. I don't know. The hope is that this can inject fresh energy into Sky, which is predicted to be a little unloved in the Comcast empire. So this is why NBC Universal was no longer part of the Comcast empire. It remained as that Comcast was now under the broadband company, and again, most hated company in America. Jesus, seriously, I mean, I don't know similar since used to run a gag for quite some time, but yeah, I probably used the Comcast byline. So yeah, I know I think the new Universal Pictures and other subsidiaries were no longer calling a Comcast company, so I will now calling it was listed as a division of NBC Universal or a part of an NBC Universal byline. So who knows? ITV and NBC Universal has no strangers. NBCU owned Caliber Films, and ITV combined created one of the defining television hits in the modern era in Downton Abbey. The Julia Farrell's drama lives on through the success of the movies, and if ITV and NBCU can create a similar hit in the future, it will go somewhere to make ITV take over success. So I have seen the first two movies. I haven't seen the third one and the final one because I have been doing a lot of things. But the first two films was great. The first film was great. I saw them, and the second film was okay film. But after the passing of Jay, like the actress who played in the movie, series, I haven't seen the third one, but I'm gonna watch someday on Netflix. So. The Sky and ITV merger raised all sorts of fascinating questions. How about the United operated without Will Sky series like The Day of Jackal and Saturday Night Live UK will perform on ITV? Will Caesar Fruit Kochat and Kevin Logo will get the top content role? Will Sky will just maintain the two biggest newsrooms in Sky News and ITN produce ITV News? Will the ITV employees have to make the unpopular journey to Sky's campus in Alderley? Indeed, deep in the South London? Sky and ITV holding confesses call later this morning. In the UK will be some answers may be popular. So I'm bummed to know the already yesterday. So I probably gave notes about that. So Adam Maltrid, who did a video about that later this week today, but who knows? And ITV Studios' next move is there's also the question of ITV Studios' next move, the following the exit of its network parent. Critics of the network business saying the successful production and distribution arm had kept ITV's share price of tanking over the recent years of the ITV ad market fell away. For that, it's just one read of the situation. Again, the reason because the streaming rolling and the linear TV content was more like declining nowadays because of streaming. So I know this is going to be different, but the production company like this declining like Benchain and Filmato most become the two Europeans biggest production companies. So Apollo bring the film and TV content, but that's what you know. In March, ITV Studios posting full revenue of the £2.1 billion, the 5% rise year over year during the period in which most major competitors that have struggled lands deals. So in just the EBITA did, however, stay flat for the economically related off-road production business. So yeah, it's not looking good at ITV Studios at all. It's probably going to be separate as an ITV network brand. So after Sky merger, so yeah. ITV will remain less of the short term with the company holding of the Capital Markets Day after completion of the Sky deal, during which it is outlined its vision to its shareholders. So it's like I said, it remains separate from the ITV parent network. It's not due to part of the NBC Universal strategy empire. So I think that the ITV Studios might change the name to somebody else like this. Like I'm not even say is it going to be acquired by Beijing or Filmato, but Bandy J and Filmato. So who knows? I probably need to add the production companies to bring new kind of content. So ITV Studios, led by the Julian Banding, owns the state of the British production companies such as Love Island and Countdown Fern, Lift Entertainment, Liberty Maker Big Talk, and the franchise producer Mountain Scream, along in the in-house unit that makes a lot running ITV soap operas, UK soap operas, Coral Street in Emmerdale. In the international front, they have production operations across Europe, US, and Australia, and Ruth Berry's well-owned distribution division, along with the insight of digital capitalized thanks to the investment of the Su 55. So there is a beginning production agreement in place between ITV and ITV Studios from day one from the split, especially given the nature of the soap opera production and the network committed to a reality brand, Love Island, which is the consistent ratings winner and the expand franchise, was become huge across the globe, including my country, Sweden, was aired on TV3, or TV4. So one question would be whether that ITV Studios continue to win as much of the business from ITV. Up to this point, has consistently landed a statistical number of the total commissions in offer. Then much of the children of the independent players in UK has in the market just become a more level playing field of the disco constellation. So I don't know what to call that. Meanwhile, with the Benny J and all three media merging with the creator of the massive production player in the British shorts, was probably know this is going to be a merger between the two like independent companies, and this probably by chain was probably become the grower because of the shows and the permits, and especially the success of the owner of the show you probably know is called Peking Blinders. So it was a success on Netflix, and it's probably made a movie. So it is gonna be a final farewell. So check it out on Netflix. And ITV will be forced to consider whether it still has a scale to complete, or if they were to looking of the new strategy investor or merger partner, then when the RTL on Fremantle is one potential option, or could it be a case of that the accuracy Benny J skip more persons once the beef up business taking shape this fall? Sources we spoke to, we don't rule out in either scenario. So, and like I said, I probably know the production companies like Benny J and Fremantle might scoop up ITV Studios. It might be changing name, but it becomes a strategy on the entertainment market. Like Benny J was more the force of the entertainment market. And now this is the same studio. This is the same company responsible like Star Academy. You face sounds familiar, and the Spanish Operación Tiburona, yeah, and this is a Spanish musical talent show was innovating like American Idol or Star Academy. So I think it's pretty much similar. So and a lot of others, and of course the aforementioned Peaky Blinders was part of the Band Chain's owned production company. So yeah, it is like the opposite. This has become the full force of the entertainment industry between in the European market and especially US. So wherever plays out, the deal announced this morning is set to reshape British television in a way no other that done for many years. So this is going to be industry one. This is going to be at the huge turning point of the British television, especially in the European television market, because Sky was proved the pay TV network was known for content like mostly for Sky content, and especially the recent Saturday Night Live UK was approved modest success, but in probably a pay TV rights, but the final episode was pretty much the watching Eurovision and 2026 final. So because of but I think that, and also that but ITV on the hand was more like the kind of declining like linear TV, and the streaming service ITVX was more like I probably know the rivals like BBC, iPlayer, and especially Channel 4 was as a streaming service and a TV network, and of course of like streaming service like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and a lot of others. But the reason the ITV was more and Sky was more different, the kind of network. Now ITV was a ritual public podcaster in the commercial network. Was been there for over the decades for so, and between the mergers and the regional network was probably changes, except for Scottish TV, STV for short. So I hope ITV and Sky will be merging will complete it in the coming months or years, I don't know. But I think there is one thing I'm to celebrate to UK audience that want to be a continuation. That there's like the ITV studios remain separate from the Sky and ITV merger, but the reason because NBC Universal appeared to kind of new strategy like and Comcast already spawned off the cable networks now into the Versant media. So, but why does it mean to know the Sky ITV networks and Sky was more appear to kind of audience? Now, there's operations between the UK and Ireland and Italy, but the German, Austrian, and Switzerland operations will be sold to RTL Group. So I'll probably know the name Sky will remain as on the license by Sky Media UK or for NBC Universal, formerly Comcast. So yeah, that's why the separate companies. But even though Sky remained as a separate, like some RTL channels were sold to another companies, like the Netherlands one and the Belgian. So well, it was pretty much the period like RTL was permanently gone, like it remains Germany and Hungary and Luxembourg, but in the but NBC Universal was pretty much part of the strategy of the film and TV division, especially TV networks and the theme park business. Also, it could be rival from Disney. So yeah, it is gonna be like there's more either NBC Universal and Disney was the same completely different things. There was more of a strategy bringing to audience. But still, I hope Sky and ITV will be merging, will be happening in the reshape into the British television industry to bring on the new rivals like BBC and Channel 4 and Channel 5 and all others. So we'll see what happens. If the merger was completed in coming months and years, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I hope it's going to be happening with Sky and ITV. Have to do with a new era of the British television industry, so who knows? So, what do you guys think about the ITV and Sky Sky and ITV merger? Was probably know that they become the people wanted to reshape of the British television to all the new growth market. And do you think that ITV and Sky was a different kind of content and things were related to like the Love Island and especially the Sky content like Saturday Night Live UK? Let me know in the comments below and tell me what you think. And if you want more like film and TV news content, be sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell to update all my channel. So thank you for watching, and I'm gonna watch the Backrooms movie later today. So, and the FIFA World Cup was still ongoing until 18 July. So until next video, thank you for watching, and as always, over and out.